Let's talk about bowler stamina. How much can the bowler bowl before they get fatigued and become ineffective? There are different types of bowlers, and we have discussed those bowlers before, their types: the fast bowlers, the fast medium bowlers, the spin bowlers, the medium pace bowlers. And obviously the faster you are, the more run up you take, the more energy you use, and you get fatigued quicker. So we have Mitchell Starc over here as a left-arm fast bowler, so he's an express pace bowler. He's going to use more energy marginally than Josh Hazlewood, who's a fast medium bowler, who's going to use more energy again. Nathan Lyon, who's a spinner or an off-break bowler. Nathan Lyon would just take a few steps in his run-up, whereas Hazlewood and Mitchell Starc are running in quite the distance. Mitchell Starc has quite a long run-up, so he'll use a little bit more stamina. The stamina rating is up on the left-hand side of the card to see the S rating. So stamina 60, that's their stamina rating. Now, obviously different bowlers have different staminas. We have, so for instance, here's a medium pacer, Hilton Cartwright. He's got a stamina of 40. So not all bowlers start with 60 stamina, but most of the main bowlers, that are your regular bowlers, will start with 60 stamina. Mitchell Starc over here has got, on the right hand side, he's got his type of bowling, so left hand fast, and then 6 is the amount of stamina points that you would use in one over. So say for instance you have Mitchell Starc bowling the first over. He starts the day fresh, he's at 60 points stamina, he will bowl one over. At the end of the over, he's no longer fresh, he's lost stamina, he's lost 6 points of stamina. So he's now at 54 stamina. Okay. At the other end, the bowler who's starting at the other end is Josh Hazlewood. Now he's got 60 points of stamina when he starts. He will then bowl an over, and that over will cost him 5 points of stamina. So then he's down to 55 stamina. So one over bowled by each of these bowlers, just 2 overs gone in the day's play. We got Starc at 54 stamina because he lost 6 points, and Hazlewood 55 stamina because he lost 5 points. Obviously they bowl in spells, so Mitchell Starc will be bowling the third over of the day. He's already bowled one of them, but he doesn't start at 60 stamina anymore. He's got 54 because he's already bowled one over. So he bowls his second over. We take another 6 points off the 54. He's down to 48 stamina now. Hazlewood comes back on. Hazlewood bowls. He's at 55 stamina because his first over cost him 5 points of stamina. We take another 5 off at the end of that over, so he's bowled 2 overs now. And he's got 2 lots of 5 stamina gone, so he's down to 50. Back to Starc, who starts the next over at 48 stamina, and so on. So you continue to lose stamina while you're bowling. So your bowling spell might consist of, say Mitchell Starc bowls 6 overs. Well, 6 times 6 is 36. He will lose 36 stamina points off here. So he'll be down to 24 stamina by the time he comes off bowling. Then you bring on a new bowler. Say Hazlewood continues on for 7 overs. 7 times 5 is 35. He'd be down to 25 stamina. So you have 24 stamina for Mitchell Starc when he leaves, 25 for Hazlewood. Hazlewood has 1 more stamina point, but he's bowled 1 more over. That sort of shows you the difference in the bowlers. Now the big part of it is, if Nathan Lyon comes on to bowl, he's only loses 3 points of stamina for over. So if he bowls 1 over, he comes on for the second, he's down to 57. Finishes the second over, he's down to 54. Finishes the third over, down to 51, and so on. You can see here that he's got 60 points of stamina, and 3 into 60 is 20 overs. If he was fresh, Nathan Lyon could come on and bowl 20 straight overs before he starts to get into fatigue. So the spinner is someone who will be able to bowl a lot more overs, whereas the fast men, Mitchell Starc, Josh Hazlewood, are going to be more bowlers that are going to bowl in short spurts, whereas the spinner are going to be able to bowl for a long time, for most of the day, if you work your bowlers correctly. Okay, so what happens when you leave the bowling crease? You're on a certain amount of stamina. The stamina And I might actually get a piece of paper to give you an example of that. So just give me a minute. Okay, so we have up here a couple of bowlers, and let's say Mitchell Starc was the bowler. So we have Starc there, and he's got 60 stamina. And we said that he bowled 6 overs in his first spell. Now those 6 overs are going to cost him 6 points per over. So 6 times 6 is 36. Mitchell Starc, when he finishes, has 24 stamina. Now, say Mitchell Starc and Hazelwood were bowling together. I might actually bring in Hazelwood first. Josh Hazelwood had 60 stamina, and he has bowled 7 overs, we said, didn't we? 7 fives are 35, and we said he came off and it was 25 stamina. So when Starc came off after 6 overs, he had 24 stamina. Hazelwood comes off after 7 overs, he's got 25 stamina. Now, for instance, Starc bowled first, didn't he? So he's a fast bowler, and that's 5 minutes per over. So 6 fives are 30 minutes, and Hazelwood's 4 minutes per over, so 7 fours are... Well, he would have bowled 6 overs when Starc went off, 5 overs, 5 fours are 20. Okay, so say it's 11:50 in the morning, 11:50 a.m. That's when Mitchell Starc first leaves the bowling crease. Okay, so Mitchell Starc leaves the bowling crease at 11:50 a.m. So Starc is off. When Starc goes off, Nathan Lyon comes on. So Lyon on 11:50, 60 points stamina. Okay, and then Josh Hazelwood bowls his next over, which is his 6th over, and that will take the time to 11:54. Hazelwood finishes his 6th over. Then at 11:54, Lyon bowls. At 11:57, Lyon finishes his 1st over. And Hazelwood is coming back for what is his 7th over. So he'll take another 4 minutes, and it's 12:01. Hazelwood finishes his 7th over at 12:01. Okay, and that's when Lyon comes back on. Now, the big thing here is Starc came off at 11:50. Now, the rules are that for every 6 minutes of play, you earn back 1 stamina point. Okay? So you earn back 1 stamina point for every 6 minutes of play that you are resting or you're not bowling. So Starc came off at 11:50. Say he comes back on, what have we got? Probably, say Starc comes back on at after lunch. He came back on at 13:40, which is 1:40 p.m. So how long has Starc been resting? He's got the 10 minutes to midday. He's got an hour to the lunch break to 1 o'clock. So that makes 10 minutes and an hour is 70 minutes. Then the players break for lunch for 40 minutes. So there's another 40 minutes of rest. So we got 70 plus 40 is 110 minutes. So 110 divided by 6 is going to be around 18 times. So Starc, during his rest, of 110 minutes, gains back 18 stamina points. So Starc came off at 24 stamina points. So at 1340, Stark has got his initial 24 stamina points when he finished his first spell, plus the gained 18 points of stamina points that he got from rest. 18 and 24, Mitchell Stark, when he starts his second spell, is 42 stamina points. And then he starts again. So you can see how you can bowl them for a spell, take them off to rest for a few hours or for how long, then bring them back later on, and they've recovered that. Now he's got 6 stamina points for every over, so he's got another 7 overs there. Now, is at the end of the day, you might want to bowl him all those 7 overs and take him down to 0 stamina. Or you might want to bowl him for, say, 3 or 4 overs. Use 18 or 24 of those stamina points. Then give him another rest to recover some more stamina. Nathan Lyon, obviously, is going to only lose 3 stamina. So he'll be able to bowl a lot more overs, have a bit of a rest, come back on and bowl a lot more frequently. So the faster you are, the more you're going to lose. Now, if you use all your stamina points and you go below 0, so say he was on 5 stamina, Mitchell Stark, and he bowled an over, well, his stamina now has gone down 6 to -1. As soon as you hit -1, there's a few different things that are going to happen to your bowling card, and I'll go through those in a minute, but you don't recover stamina at the same rate. So if you go into the negative stamina, you earn back 1 stamina point per 10 minutes. So instead of earning a stamina point back every 6 minutes when you're resting, you're now earning it back every 10 minutes because you use that extra energy. You got really fatigued, you went into negative stamina, and now you're just not going to be able to recover as quick. So if you bowl them underneath the stamina rate, they're not going to be that useful for you for the rest of the day, or a few hours at least, 2-3 hours during the day. And when they do come back after they've gone to the negative, then they're not going to be able to bowl for that long because you won't have recovered the same amount of stamina points. Now, if you do go into negatives, there's some modifiers here. Or if you go into negatives, all the negative modifiers are ignored on the bowler's card. So say Mitchell Stark goes into negatives, we've got a negative modifier on number 2, movement of the pitch, -1. A dice roll of 5, lift -2. And a dice roll of 9, good length -1. That would just be a movement off the pitch, lift, good length. But to add to that, we have any dice rolls totaling 5 or 6. So here we have the lift -2 and overpitched. A 5 or 6 becomes a short ball. Any ball that is an 8 or a 9, or any roll that is an 8 or a 9, see their good lengths here, that would become overpitched. So you can see that if you get them into negatives, they're not going to be much use to you, even if they're a really good bowler. There might be an occasion where you'll have to use them. You've been battered around the park as a bowling attack, and you just got no one left. But especially if you don't have like a good spinner, and or maybe you haven't played a spinner, maybe you got 4 pacemen, and they lose their stamina a lot more. You might have to get the bowlers into fatigue more. Now, the only time that stamina is not charged to a bowler after he finishes over is if a bowler takes a wicket. Okay, so say for instance, Mitchell Stark is bowling to Craig Braithwaite here. It's the first over of the play. So he's still got his full stamina when he bowls his first over, and Craig Braithwaite gets out in the first over, so he's dismissed. Mitchell Stark takes the wicket. When you bowl an over and you take a wicket in it, no stamina points are taken off you from that over. So instead of going from 60 down to 54 after the first over as you normally would, because he's taken the wicket, he's got a boost of adrenaline and he keeps his 60 stamina. So you can keep bowling a lot longer if you take wickets. So for instance, Mitchell Stark bowls 6 overs in his first spell. Now normally, as we said, that would take him down to 24 points. But what if he took 2 wickets in 2 separate overs there? So you would have 2 of those overs that didn't count to your stamina points. So instead of counting 6 overs, we'd only be counting 4 overs. So his 4 times 6 would be 24, which means that he would have 36 stamina points if he had taken 2 wickets. So you see, the more you take wickets, the more adrenaline you have, the more, I guess, bonus you have of not losing the stamina. So you keep fresher because you continue to take wickets. If Craig Braithwaite had come on and say Mitchell Starc was 24, and in the last over that he bowled, he was 24 stamina, but he took the wicket then, well then if he wanted to, he could bowl the next over and he would still remain at 24 rather than being at 18. Now, if say Mitchell Starc is 4 stamina at the end of the day, there's 10 overs left and Mitchell Starc is bowling quite a lot, he's down to 4 stamina. At the end of this over, he's going to go into negative stamina normally, so he's not going to be much use to you. But say in that last over when he's on 4 stamina, he takes Braithwaite out, he's bowled him. Instead of going into negatives, he'll stay at 4 and he'll be able to continue bowling those overs until he doesn't take a wicket in the over, and then he would obviously have all these negative modifiers ignored, and he would regain stamina a lot slower. At the end of the day's play, you regain all your stamina back. So we have our 3 bowlers here: Mitchell Starc, Josh Hazlewood, Nathan Lyons. Say Starc was 12 stamina, Hazlewood was 15, Lyon was 22. End of the first day's play, they come out to bowl tomorrow. They've had a rest, they've recovered, they've had a sleep, they've had food to eat, they might have had ice baths, etc. They might have had physio. The start of day 2, they're all 60 stamina, they're back to normal again. So you recover stamina anytime you're not bowling, except if you're still bowling in a partnership. So Starc bowls 1 over, Hazlewood bowls the other over, Starc bowls 1 over, Hazlewood the other over. While you're bowling together, you don't recover stamina while the other bowler is bowling. But as soon as you're taken out of the attack, so Starc is out of the attack, then he'll start to recover because another bowler is bowling. If there's a rain delay, you recover stamina there. At tea time or lunchtime, you recover stamina there, and you recover it all back overnight. But you don't lose stamina if you take a wicket in that over. So that's how stamina works. Hope this helps.